What up, world? Anti- What really destroyed and hinders growth of a black community? It seems like there's not really a strong community amongst black people. And if there is, it's like little pockets of it, like little segregations in certain areas, very, very small, tight knit groups. But what I'm curious about is what in general destroyed the the community of the black community. Why has the community been in such disarray in the past few years? And what can we do to change it? Now, I'm just going to theorize about what I think has caused, or what I've not even theorized about what I think has caused, but what I see and what I've noticed has caused a lot of turmoil in the black community. And as we work on solutions and as we work towards solutions, I just hope things get better. Now that more people are actually speaking up and speaking their part, more things can be put into action, put into place as to what can be done. The times have changed. Well, the times are changing. It's what are you going to do to help elicit the motion and the change? So, I have friends. I've had friends in the past who had their families' lineage taken from them as far as knowing who they were, right? Some people wanted to know what their background was, what their dad's, bloodline was, and things of that nature. And just to put it bluntly, most of the people that stopped them from learning about their heritage or learning about their roots or things like that was their mother. So when there's this huge disconnect in the black community about people not knowing the history and people not knowing their fathers, people not knowing where they come from, most of the times when I hear about those things happening, it's coming from the side of women. Women have either cut off ties to their lineages and not told their kids, or they they cut off ties to their father and don't tell they cut the kids access off to their father and don't tell the kids about their father and things of that nature. They cut off access to the other parent's family, things of that nature, so that way the kid doesn't have access to the family. There's been so many transgressions in the black community from the black women as a whole that has aided and abated in this lost and brokenness amongst the community, in this vast distrust. The men don't trust each other because what the women say to each other about the men. Yeah, we all in a situation where a lot of men were raised by single women, single mothers, or even if you had parents at all. A lot of people in the home in the black community were raised by single mothers, especially in this generation. So, if in this generation, a lot of the parents in the homes are single mothers, and the results are we getting a lot of less masculine men, less direction, a lot more confusion, a lot more hesitation, and not any real strength being shown. If The households, the parent of these households that produced these type of men were nothing but women. Who should take responsibility for that? But if you ask the women who should take responsibility for that, they will say, well, it's your fault because your daddy wasn't around. It's the daddy's fault. It's the man's fault. Blah, blah, blah. And black men are used to hearing that. And they're used to not fighting against it. But why? It is because of that narrative that black men has this image about them where anything that goes wrong, it's automatically their fault. It's if not automatically, it's most likely. And this is a perception created by the black women of the community about the men. See, when black men promote a lot of women in the black community, like you had rappers and all this stuff talk about bitches and blah blah blah. But those are the minority. Those are the minority loud voices. What majority was praising their black women as queens, as you know, the sultry soul of their eyes. All these R&B and love songs. That's what was majority of it. You want to know how that majority is faded? Tell me the last male R&B group that you have ever heard. Exactly. That's how you know things have changed. R&B has died. Male R&B group has died. Niggas is not singing about love no more. They are not singing about that shit no more because it you can tell with the music, the feeling of the culture really. Our culture was full of like R&B, slow jazz, love, all of that old shit like you see in the old movies where they're in apartments or wood floor houses and the old the old black dad and the old mom and the not skippy dress, but the skinny dress and they just sliding and grooving and slow moving in the orange light in the background and shit and they just smiling and bouncing in slow motion and shit. All of that type of music that used to accompany those types of scenes, that R&B shit, all of that is gone. It's gone. You have no images of that in your head anymore. You have no images of that in movies anymore because the love that was in the black community between men and women is completely destroyed. The music was just a a my cup runneth over of the love that was in the black community for men and women. Well, the men that the love that men and women have for each other in the black community was just so much overflowing that it poured out into the music, it poured out into the culture, it poured out into the arts and things of that nature. Which is why a lot of black people, or R&B singers, or jazz, or some sultry soulful shit like that. Because even though there was outside pain and pain in the world, there was love and peace at home. And that's all you can really ask for. But now we live in modern society where none of that seems to happen. Everything that ever went wrong with the black community seems to be the black man's fault. Nothing that ever went right, everything that went right with the community seems to be the black woman's fault for some reason. And yet we have this attitude of black men ain't shit and they haven't been doing anything and they won't be doing anything and they just have been holding shit down. And it's just completely wrong notion. And I hate that it's perceived that black men, because they don't get the respect that they deserve in the world, is because they're the ones that destroy the community. And it's not even true. Most deadbeat dad situations aren't deadbeat dad situations. They're hostile mom situations where the mom is holding the kid hostage in order to prove a point to the dad or her dad, or to make him do something or control him. This is what most women do. This is why Patrice O'Neill said that they're the enemy naturally. They're the enemy naturally because they will do things against you naturally. They're the enemy. And I'll expand more on that. It's because we have this. Why are they the enemy? It's because we have, as men, we have this archetypal, perfect, ultimate image of man in our head, and we have this archetypal, ultimate image of woman in our head. A woman has an archetypal, ultimate image of a man in her head, and an archetypal, ultimate image of a woman in her head. Guess what the difference is? Definitely let you guys know in the next one.